welcome to Monday Night TPK.
Hey, welcome back. This is Monday Night TPK. My name is Kyle, and this is our 5th edition Real Play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. We're currently running through the Tomb of Annihilation. In fact, I think we've even encountered a tomb where y'all were almost annihilated.
Yeah, pretty close.
I don't think we've done a whole lot of running yet, though.
Well, we're almost there.
Cool.
So that dungeon you guys went into, that must have been it, because you were almost annihilated. That's what the whole thing is named after, guys.
Game over, guys.
But was it a tomb?
It was a shrine.
Yeah.
Like a temple or...
Yeah, temple. Alright, so around me at the table are 4 very skeptical players who pretty much always think that I am bullshitting them and or lying to them.
I mean, that's just daily life, Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, life of a DM, right? Like, y'all see...
You're lying right now. No one thinks that.
Aww.
Ryan, you're adorable. Point of inspiration.
Hey!
You've already got one.
Oh.
Well, I gave it to him off air, so now he's got one officially canon.
What happens off air stays off air.
Unless I, like, edit it to the end of an episode as, like, weird shit.
Yeah.
Because that happens sometimes. Alright, so... I'm going to skip the little BS stuff around the table, I think. Because I think we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to do. And Sam, would you mind terribly reading your notes? What happened last week?
I mean, not too terribly. Aw, and of course it just shuts off. Hold
Isn't that the way
on.
it works? Your tablet is on right until you want it and then it's off.
And then it's like, no, absolutely not. Alright, last week on episode 41, we started out with Gilly playing with the maze on the jug. After approximately 10 minutes, Gilly figured out the maze, and the clay began to get warm. And then Rixer took off his pants. The clay began to cool, and Gilly commanded the jug to fill with water. She took a drink, and it's fresh water. Rixer wanted some, so Gilly handed the jug over in hopes that he would just take a cup and fill it up. Nope. He put his mouth on that jug and just took a sip, and then dumped the rest of it all over himself. So, after getting back the empty jug, Gilly asked for the jug for more water, which she got. We then figured out that we were using the alchemy jug the wrong way and promised to never use it like that again. Night fell and we all went to sleep. Gilly had a dream in which there were 2 Chewingas. One was carrying the alchemy jug that looked like the one that we had, while the other one saw a snake and got bitten. The one carrying the alchemy jug solved the maze on the jug, poured the contents of the jug on his friend, and his friend was healed, and the sun rose and the dream ended. Gilly now has extra knowledge. Morning routines commenced. We packed up and headed downriver. We were heading towards Mbala. We split the supplies 3 ways within the floating vessels, because saying canoe and 2 rowboats is a lot. And we headed upstream. The jungle was quiet that day, and a full day of travel commenced. We stopped for the night, had a restful sleep, woke up, and headed out again. Rixer, in that time, finished his Chewinga carving. Midday, we started to smell nastiness on the river, like rotten sickness. Gilly asked Iku if we were near an undead area, and she said we shouldn't be. Iku said she hadn't experienced anything like this the last time she headed this way. Excuse me. We continued on with caution. After an hour, Rixer was searching the riverbank and found a guarded fort with burned bodies and flayed animal skins around its boundary. The flag hanging from the gate entryway was of the Flaming Fist. Rixer was looking closer. No, I'm sorry. Brielle was looking closer and found that the watchtower was manned and we had been spotted. And the man in the watchtower was yelling down into the fort. We rowed quickly and stayed close to the opposing side of the river. Ruh'Vain cast fog cloud to help in our escape. Right before the fog obscured our view, we saw the front gates bursting open, and a man began beckoning for help as we passed. Words are hard, folks. We became in an ethical dilemma because do we save them? Do we not save them? Are they lying? We don't know. Brielle asked Iku if we could restock in Umbala, and Iku filled us in that it used to be a hardy village. Now there is a single old woman that lives there alone, and she's potentially a hag. Hashtag harsh. But no, she ate the village. And then we learned that where the Oracle lives, which Sam personally forgot the name. Oralunga, thank you.
You're welcome.
Was in, the Oracle was living in isolation and it's no place to restock our supplies. And we ended in our ethical dilemma.
Your ethical quagmire, even.
Ooh, that's
Giggity.
like
Beat me to it.
that's like a $4 word.
Giggity.
That's like a 10-cent word.
Giggity giggity.
Now I got a
It's 20
410.
cents now.
That's pretty great. So guys, y'all are sitting in your vessels. I'll give you at least a $3.50 for that word.
It's a little high.
Well, whatever. In the context, I think it works very well. Y'all are sitting in your vessels, which is a much different than if you were sitting on vassals. Okay, and picture
Go!
a whole raft made of your dead peasant servants. It'd be a much darker campaign.
Oh no.
I think Rick's ended up being one of them then. That was kind of his lot in life for a while.
So you guys are in your vessels debating whether or not you're going to return to this encampment or continue on your way down the river towards your ultimate goal of this this oracle. Do you guys remember why you're meeting this oracle?
So
She's supposed to. She possibly could have information about the name of the item. I can't think of it. Whatever's causing the curse. She may possibly be able to target us in the right direction.
Well, and grandfather's the one that told us that, right? Because he had a vision, and then
Yes.
The vision was about the Sneeple.
was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The vision was about the Sneeple.
If I recall.
I do believe he told us about it too, but the vision was about the Sneeple.
Well, I did I have things of it written down, but I didn't know if they all were.
He saw
right.
a city covered in snakes to the south, with a large obelisk.
Black obelisk. And then what I have written down is ripped soul, minutes, and evil. Maybe that's supposed to be evil city. It's written under that.
He seemed to think his vision was directing him towards a city to the south. He didn't know what the city was or where it was.
Yeah.
And he feels like the oracle at Oralunga, not Umbala, as I've been saying repeatedly, the oracle at Oralunga may know more about where this city is, how to get there, and more about this soulmonger, as you guys have, which is a key term. It was highlighted in blue, with blue text, to help you differentiate it and know that it's something you're paying attention to.
I know that's in my notes somewhere about the soulmonger, but
Is this going to be on the spelling test?
You will be tested on this material.
Okay.
Probably another year at this point, but y'all get there eventually.
I'll put it right here.
So yeah, as a bit of a throwback Monday to the long, long ago. That's why you guys are heading where you're heading.
Right.
But right now, our question is, do you continue on your merry way, or go back and help your possible new dwarf friend wearing plate mail?
Gilly will say that I'm willing to go back and hear them out, but I don't want to get close until we know the exact situation and I'll be able to assess it further.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Brielle will suggest staying on one side of the opposite side of the bank.
Brielle thinks we should stay on the opposite side of the bank, which I'm in agreement with.
Mm-hmm.
So we could take our boats back upriver a little bit, keep them close, and then walk the rest of the way. I don't want to take the boats up there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to leave them out of eyesight either.
Right. She thinks it's a real bad idea to leave the boats out of eyesight, but taking the boats right over to them is not a good idea either. Do we want to do that?
Yeah. Let's do that. I like that one.
Okay. I guess you can get rid of your fog cloud now. Unless you want it to be a surprise.
Surprise!
I think I will leave it up for the time being until we get to a comfortable location.
You can see from Brielle's expression that she's agreeing with you. That that's a good idea.
I'm concerned for these folks, but I'm not an idiot.
Well, and
Good to
also
know.
have to remember that you can't see through the fog, but you can hear through the fog.
And speaking of which, I cast Mage Armor.
Noted. And by I've noted it, I mean, I saw you write it down.
And that activates my ward.
Groovy. How long does the ward last?
It lasts until it's depleted.
Cool.
Until I finish a long rest, I can recharge it with another abjuration spell.
Okay. Alright, so you guys have no problem pulling your boats off to the side of the shore. You can kind of tie them off and keep them relatively secure. And it takes you, I don't know, let's say 20 minutes at the very most to do that safely and securely, and then make the hike back up the riverbank to where this encampment was. And you're obviously on the opposite side of the river.
Yeah.
At some point, as you're tying your canoes off, you do gradually hear him stop calling for you, because you weren't that far away. You could have still heard him, but it sounds like he just stopped calling. And as you make your way back, though, even though the fog cloud is still obscuring things, you can kind of just hear like clanking of arms and armor, like just kind of on the other side of the bank.
Like of one person?
Give me a perception check if you want more details.
I'd like to
I
do
can't
that.
give away too much for free.
That was not.
Disadvantage because you can't use sight for this perception check. This is
Oh,
only
that's
yours.
valid. That's
15.
only one less. So,
I was leaning, but
yeah, where's my perception?
10.
15.
Yeah. Ryan, you can hear the clanking, as I said, just kind of for free. Brielle and Rixer, you get the feeling that you're hearing two people, two bodies. And you can even make out some kind of hushed, not really whispers, but kind of like low conversation. With just the 15 at the distance and the fog and the river noises and stuff, you can't really make out what they're saying.
Right.
But you can make out that one of them is definitely the same man's voice, the dwarf. I gave you his name, or the Firebeard.
Yeah, I just closed my notebook. I
Um,
do believe that's what it was.
And it sounds like a woman's voice.
Yeah.
Sam?
Can I just take a hot second and I will... Oh, never mind. I can't. I can't boop all of you, but I'm definitely gonna boop Brielle and cast resistance on her. So just in case some not so cool
What'd you boot me with?
magic's resistance.
Resistance?
So you can add a d4 to any
Okay.
saving throw for up to a minute. Oh, I guess we would do that. I will do that just when we make visual and start talking. I'll just have my hand on her arm since I'm short and cast resistance.
We can just
then.
hold hands. It's okay.
Okay.
Aw.
Platonic friends can hold hands.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are across the way. It sounds like your new best friend Ord is there speaking with somebody else.
Okay.
So there's at least 3 people.
Oh, you
There's
saw
a
the
scout.
scout. You watched out, yes.
Are we ready to dispel our fog cloud?
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, once we're all by the edge of this river.
I mean, can talk through the fog, but okay. I mean, Rixer would be saying that rather quietly, like, so he doesn't want to actually make a suggestion, so he does.
What? What did you say?
Turn this back on video.
Nothing.
Eh.
Just the fog. Like I said, you can hear through it.
But I can't. Brielle's gonna point out, but well, no, you can't see me point anything out because we're in a fog cloud right
It
now.
was
It's
across the
across the
river.
It's
It's
across
not
the
on
river.
this side?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. Then Brielle's gonna point out that, but we can't see them.
Yeah,
So if we can't see them, we can't determine whether they're lying to us or not.
it's hard to tell non-verbal expression through a fog cloud.
I don't know what that word means.
Like how their bodies are positioned or how their faces look.
I mean, I think the guy probably has a beard.
Yeah,
He's a dwarf.
you're right. I think we need to reduce the fog cloud though so we can get a better picture.
Give them
Oh,
the
okay,
benefit of the
sounds
doubt.
good.
If things take a turn for the worse, I can just put it right back up and we'll go on our way.
Okay. Let's do that then. Let's do that one.
Okay.
And I will end concentration on fog cloud.
The fog cloud disperses, and these two, you see the same dwarven man in full plate mail. Now that you're not rowing kind of for your lives, you can see he has a great big bright red bushy beard,
I told
but
you he had a
relatively
beard.
actually bald on top, and he is standing next to a tall, thin woman wearing splint mail, who is leaning on a long spear. That's kind of, the butt of it is kind of like wedged into the sand. And they're both just like stopped mid-conversation or turning to like look at you. And the dwarven man gets a smile on his face and looks up to them and is like, "You see? I wasn't lying or making it up. That's them right there. And they came back. Hello, friends." And he's gonna wave.
Hello.
"I see you came back without your canoe." Zzz.
Please tell us of your current situation.
I'd like to roll that insight just to get ready for his lying, if possible.
For his line.
Sorry, how far did we walk from the canoes? Like whenever we shored them up and we walked.
I mean,
That
it's 150 or so feet further down the river.
Okay.
They might really be able to see the canoes if they're really like paying attention.
Okay.
You guys didn't like tell me you hid them. Just
Right.
got them up there very solidly.
Yeah.
We wanted them to stay within eyesight, so
Okay.
we can see them.
Yeah. Rixer is gonna just like focus on the canoes, not even paying attention to the conversation at all.
All right.
He's very worried about the canoes. They're his babies.
So question asked was more or less like, tell me your tale, or tell me what's going on. Right? I'm paraphrasing, of course.
In the most detail as possible.
The man, the dwarf, is gonna kind of look at the taller woman, and she just kind of like shrugs, and you can tell that she says something to him very, very quietly. But again, the distance and stuff is kind of a little bit hard to hear.
Lies.
And he will kind of call out that it is very hard to tell you a long tale at this great of a distance and shouting over the river. I got a lockdown voice to this guy. I'm all over the place.
I don't know, that sounded like a good, like, has a little bit inflection, but it's not gonna, like, hurt your throat talking for a while, so.
Use fewer words with greater detail. We will not be moving closer.
You can see he just kind of like, not, like, gets angry, but just like slumps a little bit and shakes his head. Like, an annoyance, I guess is a good word. Many zombie attacks. Undead continue to assail our walls. Our troops are dying. And they are getting sick faster than our healers can heal them, can save them, can cure them.
Gilly's gonna take a moment and sign to Brielle.
Okay.
They have healers that can't heal them. What good am I going to do?
Right. She's gonna say that's a good point, and then she's also gonna say that they're saying they're being attacked by zombies, but Igu specifically said that there wasn't a high amount of them in this area. So why are they having problems?
She did say that like they're right on the border between kind of a zombie zone and no zombie zone, and they're on the zombie side.
Okay.
For whatever that's worth.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like this river kind of like separates the higher undead zones to like not much.
I should have got out our map, because then I would know that, because our map tells us that. But she did say that there wasn't a lot, and it's supposed to be a lot in this area. So if they're having problems with zombies, or they're saying they're having problems with zombies, we've handled zombies, a decent amount of zombies. There's probably a whole army in there. How can they not handle a few zombies in a fort?
Yeah. Yeah. Gilly's just gonna say, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
my insight was only a 13 on him.
For
I don't know what that would get me.
yeah, I have the stats here.
Gilly will also sign, he seems annoyed having to tell his story. Someone who is truly desperate would tell
Right.
their story in an instant.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't get the feeling, listening to him, Brielle, that he's outright lying about anything he's saying.
Okay.
He's definitely holding stuff back.
Okay. Bria will tell Gilly that and ask him what he's not telling us.
Okay, the jig is up. What are you not disclosing? What do you mean your healers can't heal them fast enough?
He will kind of call back that we only have. Again, I lost the voice. I don't keep track in my head.
It happens. It happens to me all the time.
We only have 6 acolytes and 1 priest. Their healing magics are limited, and there's just too many sick soldiers to go around.
Gilly's
Okay,
gonna
so hold
say,
on. Meta purposes, because I've been around you enough. How early on in being a cleric can you cure a disease?
Cure disease. I have to look at it because I don't withhold
What level is
information
that?
well. I do believe that is lesser restoration.
Yeah.
That will be a second level spell. So I do believe you have to be level 3.
Level 3 at least. Okay. I mean,
2 or 3.
people not being adventurers, if they're not adventurers, the chance of them getting to level 3 is a little slim.
Right.
So not having that experience to
So,
reach a level like that. So
An acolyte. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so theoretically, they might not be skilled enough to be able to cast that.
Cast Cure Lesser Restoration.
Right.
Yeah, Gilly, having grown up in a place where these people are trained, someone who's reached the acolyte status, you would just know, they can probably create a safe zone with Blessed Sanctuary, cast Cure Wounds on a very limited basis, but if there's true diseases that can't be cured by Cure Wounds, that they would be at a loss. He did mention there was a priest.
Yeah. Priest is going to know more.
And the priest probably has got some, because exact spells they know might vary a little bit, but the priest would have some ability, but perhaps not as much as a true cleric.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yep. So I'm just about at acolyte level, and he said, no.
You're
above acolyte.
Yeah.
You're
Okay,
definitely
a little
above
bit.
acolyte.
Okay.
I mean, one of the backgrounds you can take at level 1 is acolyte.
That's true. Okay. But still, with a priest there.
a single priest. He said there's lots of troops.
Yeah.
He was saying that they have 6 acolytes and a priest.
Right.
But there's too many wounded for them to deal with.
And sick.
So wounded, the acolytes would be able to handle, but the priest isn't going to be able to cure a lot of diseased people if they've got infected.
Gilly, I guess, would just sign that if a priest is having trouble keeping back the sick, I can only heal to quote-unquote sick people a day.
Right.
We would be there days and risking illness.
Yeah, we're not helping.
I could
Unless
ask
we could
him.
help.
Oh,
Unless we could help keep back the zombies, but there's not supposed to be a lot here. So what's going on?
our rations are an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping back the zombies puts us in personal danger. If they are diseased and infected within the camp, they are a potential issue. The camp will eventually be overrun by zombies
Right.
because they keep getting bit
Right.
and not healed. And there was another point there. Yeah, I would have to be there for days.
Yeah.
In this whole conversation, you guys are signing back and forth.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Do you want me to ask him what he wants?
What he needs?
Yeah.
We can ask Ruh'Vain's input. He's being pretty quiet.
Okay.
So observing the hand talk.
Okay. I pull
Useful.
Ruh'Vain, right? I did say that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
I pull Ruh'Vain aside and say, sidebar. And I kind
Lean
of
down.
fill him in on all of the things and what I'm currently able to do as a cleric and what the cost would be and what I'm kind of piecing together is the issue there.
No, I understand completely. We could explain our situation to him. We're just 4 people, 5 if you count our guide. We don't have the resources to help an army. And stopping. I guess ask him what he needs, what they need, and if we are able to assist, or if find out for ourselves that we're able to assist. If we're not, then
Yes.
we have to look out for our survival.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to cut in here just because you guys are obviously having, amongst the 3 of you, a pretty long conversation while there's people on the other side, right? So as you're having this conversation in between sign and then you kind of bring Ruh'Vain over for a sidebar, a third person comes out of the gate. A kind of a short, very, very skinny man who holds himself very high, and he's wearing extremely rich and elegant colored robes with an armband with the same logo that you've been seeing everywhere. And
The fist logo?
Yeah, the Flaming Fist logo. And he has this, like, you can see he has a scowl on his face. He's not talking to you guys because you're having this conversation
Right.
amongst yourselves. But he definitely, like, looks you over pretty thoroughly and then begins having a heated conversation with the other two who had, like, snapped to attention. Like arms at their side, like, not saluting exactly, but, like, just very much like, yes, sir. No, sir. And then
He's definitely higher in command.
and then the dwarf starts explaining something. You can just tell from the body language and hand emotions that that's what's happening. And the woman stands there with her spear kind of just at attention.
Okay.
And that's as you're talking.
How well could Richter see, like, across from where the canoes are on the shore, that riverbank?
Pretty well.
Okay. Can I do, like, a perception to see if there's anything going on over there?
Do it.
That's gonna be 15.
Nothing that you would think is out of the ordinary
Okay.
or suspicious.
Cool.
So, now the higher in the command is
Yeah.
there. Gilly will look over and say, do you think it's safe to ask what they need now?
She would say yeah.
Okay.
I say, what are you lot doing over there?
Stay away from you.
What do you need?
We have urgent need, and I'm told that you have canoes, and that you may have medical supplies. I order you to come here right now. And you guys can almost see the other two, like, just get angry a little bit and kind of clench their fists. Don't say anything, don't do anything.
Tell him we don't have medical supplies.
We actually do not have medical supplies.
Tell him that we are just traveling,
We're only travelers.
so we've only got what we need to make it to where we're going.
We only have enough to get us where we are going.
He kind of, like, scowls in your direction, and then, like, turns to look at the dwarven man and, like, berates him a little bit. And the dwarven, there's a heated conversation, and then he just kind of puts his hand up, like he's not going to even listen to it anymore. And calls out again to you all. Like, I do not care what you do and do not have. You clearly have canoes and you have able bodies. We are hereby commandeering you and your canoes to take some of our men and messages back to Port Nyanzaru.
I apologize.
Fog Cloud is.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Richter flips them off.
yeah, as the fog cloud starts to envelop, Brielle flips him off as well. We're gone.
And run back to the canoes and go.
Yeah.
You cannot hide behind your wizards. He's calling out behind you as you guys move back. You cannot hide behind your wizard. I have seen your faces, and you are now no friends to the Flaming Fist.
We weren't in the
Anywhere you go, you will be pursued. You are violating a direct order given at a time of military medical necessity. And he kind of probably just fades off into the distance, screaming at you.
As we're running away, I would like to take a piece of parchment, and I'm going to draw something on it. I'm going to wrap it around an arrow, and I'm going to launch that arrow over in their general direction.
No!
Okay, it's done. I mean...
And when the fog cloud dissipates, they'll find it.
Okay. I don't think you'll get to see have the satisfaction of seeing their responses.
Brielle does not care.
Alright, well...
She just wants to get the point across.
Come on, guys. That was a great place that you could have walked right into.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Gilly is just
No.
gonna stare at Ruh'Vain for a minute and then get in the boat. Like,
Apparently, one must be too careful while being too neighborly here.
Rixer will help push the canoes off into the river before getting into his own.
So as you guys load back into your canoes and kind of get back into position, canoes and boats rather, Iku has been kind of very quiet this whole time. She was clearly super conflicted on what to do anyway, and was going to, I think, kind of err on whatever side you decide to go on here.
Bearable news.
Thank you, Dana. And as you get back into the boat and kind of push off, and she's going to kind of shake her head and just kind of say, "What an asshole."
As we're getting into the boats, Bria will kind of give like Ruh'Vain a small pat on the back, and then she'll sign, "I get it," but
She says she gets it. But they're not too kind. At least now we're sure.
Disturbing.
Alright, you guys are able to continue on your way. I mean, all told, you probably wasted maybe an hour at the most, between all your precautions and getting back again to conversations. So really, most of the day isn't ruined by any means, other than your attitudes towards the rest of sentient creatures. As it gets closer to dusk, Iku is going to say to you, we are nearly to the Aldani Basin. Look lively. We need to be on the lookout for more dinosaurs through here and other creatures that you have not yet encountered.
Great.
And within 15-20 minutes or so of her kind of giving this vague warning almost, the river kind of spills out into this great big marshy, swampy area. And there's lots of smaller kind of tributary size paths the canoe can take. And Iku seems to know where she's going. But you go for a little while down one narrow pass into another, and the river is now just thick with plant life. Tall grasses and lily pads.
so it looks like the Pine River.
The insects, the insects just get thicker and thicker, and you can hear buzzings. And it's getting pretty close to dusk, and you're probably starting to think that you're going to want to try to find some dry land somewhere in order to make camp.
Mm-hmm.
And Iku's confident that she can probably find you a place.
Mm-hmm.
As you are just kind of navigating, she's like, I believe in this direction, and just kind of muttering herself a little bit as she kind of points out to where you're going and is leaving. You pass what, for a moment in the dim light, not dim light, but like fading light, seems to be a collection of very wide trees that then move. And you realize you're standing underneath of an enormous four-legged, long-necked dinosaur. And its huge tree trunk-like legs kind of like seem to be totally oblivious to you as it kind of like moves along, slowly splashing, and you can kind of, you're rocking the boats a little bit.
Jurassic Park theme is playing in my head right now.
Rixer's just like,
Just take off my glasses.
But it seems to ignore you. It's not interested. Thank you, Dana. It's a point of inspiration for Rixer.
I already have.
Oh, bummer.
You know that.
But Iku's able to find you guys a dry spot where you can pull your boats up, and where you can stop for the night. I'm assuming that's what you want to do.
Yes.
What if we get stepped on? Rixer's eyes are like still wide and like surprised at how big this dinosaur was.
I mean, you can always hope that it steps on the entirety of you, and then your death will be quick.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oddly bleak for Gilly.
I mean, she's finding the best in a bad situation,
Yeah.
right?
I suppose.
I mean, it could just step on your leg or your lower half, and you can die slowly.
That's true.
Or at least hope that it squishes the top half of you, because then at least it's your brain.
Alright.
Yeah, I think so.
I know so.
Oh, okay.
I think I will set up alarms around our camping spot today.
Great idea.
Maybe audible ones so they can wake anybody up who's sleeping.
Richter will offer to help you.
I mean, it's an intricate, arcane process, is Rixer.
He still offers his assistance.
But you don't need any help? What if you just need somebody to watch your back?
That would be appreciated.
Okay, I'll do that.
Perfect.
And Richter stands a little bit too close to you as you're walking. Like once you stop to do your thing, he gives you space, but as you're walking.
Alright, so you guys definitely have your space for the night. Is there anything in particular that you would like to do?
No.
And finish up that chewunga with like sealing it.
Yeah.
Especially now that we're somewhere it's so swampy. Don't want it to get moldy or anything.
Okay. What are your watches tonight? I know you guys told us a million times, but
Yeah, same as
Just a second.
So, I don't know if it changes anything, but being high up, I have the same trait as Brielle, whereas I can trance for 4 hours.
yeah, do you guys trance at the same time or do you trade off?
I'd say we trade off.
Trade
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
So there's one of you awake at all times? Works for me.
Rixer would prefer to take first watch.
Okay. How many watches do you have total?
I think we did 3 in the past. Because it was Morn and Rixer, Gilly and Brielle,
Morn
and
isn't
then
part of this.
He
Morn.
was.
Jeez, Maud. And then Brielle and Iku, if I remember right, is how we did it before.
Alright, so now what is it?
Hold on, I'm going through the notes.
I mean, you guys can redecide now too. Like,
Well,
you got two elves only in the trance.
Gilly likes to be up in the morning, right?
Yes.
So why doesn't Ruh'Vain? Ruh'Vain will take the first half,
Yeah.
and I'll take the second.
Yeah, because I
Because
need
that way
to be up.
me and Gilly are up at the same time.
How
Yeah.
long
Spend some time with Rixer, get past prejudices.
Yes.
how long are watches usually?
It depends on the party size, but 2 hours is pretty standard.
Okay, so like 4 hours would be too much.
You have to get 8 hours of
Right.
sleep.
Okay.
Well,
Well, you have to have 8 hours of rest, 6 hours
6
of
hours of
sleep.
sleep, yes.
Okay. So I was just wondering if we want to essentially split it into 2, like so half with Ruh'Vain and somebody else, and then half with Brielle and somebody else, and then have Iku kind of like overlap in the middle. So for a while there's 3 people, especially because of like how dangerous she says this area
Yes,
is.
Iku has no problem with that. She would take any quantity of watch time that you think she should have.
Do we want to stay camped
There
a
would
little bit
be-
longer then? So people can still get the adequate amount of sleep?
Well, is what we could do is because there's gonna be a spot because we have to rest for 4 hours each. There's gonna be a point where both of us are still sleeping, so
Iku will-
we could have Iku do the overlap
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
she'll volunteer to take that and any others if is necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. So the first half of the watch goes by calmly. This basin has a lot more noise, and it'll have a lot more life in it than you guys have been experiencing in the jungle so far. And the bugs are just awful. Like the insects are swarming and they're biting, and you're constantly swatting them away.
Trying to retreat into my robes.
Question, Kyle.
yeah,
Before we
go ahead.
continue real quick, because I'm looking at the map trying to figure out like about where we're at.
Uh-huh.
Was that Camp Vengeance?
You
Or-
just, yes, you guys.
That was Camp Vengeance. Okay, I do not have us far enough then down this line.
And I can catch you up on where the map is, Matt, after we're done with the session here.
Yeah, I might need that.
That's fine.
Because I realized I haven't updated it for a couple sessions, which is why I'm lost.
Well, yeah, that's no big deal. So yeah, the first half of the night goes by pretty calmly. About 2 hours into the second half. So I think that's going to be about when Brielle's waking up.
Into the second half of the night? Yeah, Brielle. It'd be probably about when Brielle's waking up. Yeah.
Brielle hears something very large, like just blatantly not even trying to be quiet, just like stomping loudly towards you.
Direction?
To the northish, or from the northish.
So, following along the river?
No, not following.
North is...
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
Wait.
like kind of by the river,
Yeah,
but
so like this way.
yeah.
Okay. Sounds like it's coming towards us. Do you want me to make a perception check?
Sure.
No, that's not bad. 15.
I mean, you can hear that it's a single creature of some sort. It's quite large, and it's making no effort whatsoever to, like, be quiet amongst all the jungle. It's not something you can quite see yet, even
Right.
just because of the dense
Can I get
jungle.
a distance off that with a 15?
50 feet or so.
50 feet or so. So it's big, so it's going to be moving pretty fast, because it's going to take bigger steps. Is Iku asleep at this point?
You can look around and see her. She's sitting just quietly next to a tree with her back up against it, and she's definitely like sitting upright, like she's listening also.
Like she's listening to it as well. She's going to sign over towards her and say that this isn't possibly... something's coming. I'm sure you hear it. This possibly isn't a threat other than maybe crushing our camp. Should we hide? Should we get the rest of the party and get out of its way and let it just pass?
She will shrug and say to you that if it is here to harm us, then perhaps yes. But we do not know what it is or its intent. Moving and making noise may draw attention to ourselves.
That's valid as well. Maybe regardless of whether it's a threat or not, we should at least wake up the rest of the party and get them ready. If it could be something that's just gonna pass, and if it's gonna attack us, then we're ready.
Sure. Yes, let's quietly wake up our friends.
Yeah, so Brielle will start waking everybody up.
Yep, and Iku rolls over and kind of like hits Rixer kind of like on the shoulder and shakes him a little bit.
Rixer would be a little bit hard to wake up.
And she shakes you surprisingly hard.
Okay.
And after a few moments, everyone's awake, and Iku and I'm sure Brielle will kind of like give you the
I'll
shushing
give you the
sound
shushing sound. Yep.
and tell you just listen. And you guys can hear this thing getting closer. This loud stamping.
Gilly would like to roll a perception check.
Do it.
11, 14.
What exactly are you?
I want to know 4 legs or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's closer now. It sounds pretty distinctly like 2 legs. And as in the time it takes you guys to do this and kind of have this conversation and be listening, you have just enough time to see that it's like just about to break through the brush surrounding your camp to like look and kind of ready yourselves and some quickly if you want.
Braille's gonna take cover. If there's like any foliage or whatever, she's gonna try to hide in there to maybe get a surprise shot on it at least.
Okay.
Yeah, Gilly heads for bush for
That was
cover.
kind of cocked. Let's do that again. Is that bad?
Iku stands up and holds her staff out, just kind of ready to face whatever comes through the.
Rixer's gonna be on his feet, but kind of like squat,
Okay.
so he's not as visible maybe, and have his axe ready.
Right.
Guess I'll just try and take cover somewhere.
There's other foliage, trees,
Yeah.
like places you can kind of dive into. Okay. So out of the thicker foliage around your camp steps a very, very tall, enormously tall man. Probably 9 feet tall. It's dark. So you have dark vision, so you can tell this man is wearing full plate armor. And like very, very broad chested, kind of comes down to a narrow waist. But it's very distinct that he only has one arm.
Oh.
And where his left shoulder and even part of his chest should be, there's just a great big gaping like hole. Like it's just gone. And his breastplate looks like it has been like bent inwards and kind of twisted a little bit at the shoulder. And you can see it's got like black charring up and down his what remains of his torso and down his leg and thigh and up into across his face. His armor is heavily bent and dented, but the rest of it that is still physically there looks to be very solid. And he stands once he breaks the clearing perfectly still, and with his one right arm kind of hanging with a clenched fist, but kind of hanging kind of loosely at his side, and stands totally upright, looks at you, and finds, even though she's hiding, finds Gilly's hiding spot, looks at Gilly, and Gilly, you hear in your head, arrival complete.
It's my buddy!
And I think we're going to be at just short of an hour here, but I feel like we have come to a good
ending.
stopping point
Yes.
for the episode. So Sam, if you have anything you'd like to say.
Yeah, that's all for tonight. Thanks for listening. If you want to get to know us better, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Monday Night TPK. You can also find Monday Night TPK at Above the Table Games on YouTube. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes. It really helps us out a lot. Thanks for listening, and we will always save a seat at the table for you.
Oh, wait, 21?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
wait, 21?
I'm at 2150, yeah, adding
Okay.
200.
I
That's
had to have missed something then, because I should have 25 more XP than you guys. And mine says 1875.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You can't keep track of the XP. I guess you don't deserve it.
That's like 3. What did you say that you're at?
2150.
So yeah, that's like 300 XP that I didn't write down at some point.
I wonder if there's that day you went home early. Could have divvied out some XP. Maybe. I don't have any idea.
So am I the same as them, or
You're the
do
same as
I?
them.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Jesus.